today, historical for Web3 marketplaces. Kinda. We'll get into it and some other things. If this is your first time tuning in, what's up? My name is The Schiller. We followed NBA Top Shot as it soared. I think it was the only streamer to ever get partnered on Twitch from covering it. We minted Bored Ape Yacht Club and have one of the only videos that exist on the internet of that, and have been following the space ever since. And going to be trying to bring you some of the oohs and ahs of the day. And the first one here, forced royalties and fees plus walled marketplace equals the lowest Coda sale ever. So Magic Eden is now having an Ethereum marketplace with several collections, and they are enforcing royalties. And the fact that we have the lowest Coda sale ever as a result, obviously ETH is way up from previous times. I mean, I think that's kind of crazy. So yesterday, Yuga Labs put out the statement saying, tomorrow the much anticipated Magic Eden Ethereum marketplace goes live, the first major marketplace to partner with creators and launch a platform that we can all be proud of, with custom pages for collectors, loyalty rewards, and contractual royalty enforcement. Yuga and Magic Eden are taking a big step forward to bring us back to a creator-led Web3. In sync with the marketplace launch, tomorrow will be sunsetting our support for marketplaces who don't support royalties for all creators. So there is a ton of collections now that aren't available on Blur, that aren't available on OpenSea. It's only through Magic Eden and or X2, Y2. This means that our collections with a royalty filter will only be traded on marketplaces that respect creator royalties for any and all creators at the protocol level. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, because I think that this is historical to a point, because we have a shift going on, right? Where we have all these digital goods. People are trying to figure out how they can make it sustainable from a business model. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, all these NFTs, they're stupid. Why does the team deserve royalties in the first place if nothing's come of it? And, we have this back and forth argument, but, we're going to have a side that stands with royalties and a side that stands without it. And from my understanding, for like the Bitcoin ordinals, there is no royalties on the NFT sales, at least off the top of my head. And again, I think I'm getting into the ink on BTC Mint, but that's kind of the only experience I have with it. And so as we progress here, is this something that now people are going to potentially shift away from some of these Ethereum collections that are on Magic Eden? Are they going to be onto it more? Again, we just saw that lowest sale ever for a Coda, so it's kind of crazy. Now, here's a perspective tweet that you may like or you may dislike. So Yuga says, we will enforce royalties on everything we technically can. And Luca Nets, founders of Pudgy Penguins, saying, we will collaborate with Magic Eden because we are happy if you want to support us with royalties, but you will always be free to trade anywhere you want. Lessons in there. So again, what's your thoughts on that? Kind of an interesting perspective. Now, Blast, it's happening February 29th. We had the big news yesterday with the risk on Blast that raised a whole bunch of funds, ended up completely rugging on things. I think that when this happens, I think it's going to allow people to unlock their ETH on it. However, a lot of people are already highlighting that we're going to see Pac-Man give these extra incentives, more reason to continuing to stake on there. But the whole Blast L2 narrative, we have a lot of things, including Bitcoin ripping, the portal drop that's coming up, and just overall, it seems that there's liquidity absolutely zooming in the space right now. Geoeconomics saying, surprised by the BTC pump. Global liquidity is rocketing. So, of course, BTC will. China Central Bank injects 329 billion yuan via 7-day reverse repo statement. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what the hell that means, but 329 billion won in the market. Sign me up. And then I'm seeing this all over my timeline. People are saying super cycle still, but you wouldn't believe it. Do you believe? Are you a believer? Now, on my timeline, I always try to bring up random collections that get brought up, and Macroverse was one of them. So they're saying epics have arrived. The first real digital collectible comics are here, limited to 1,000 mints per series, 5 rare tiers, etc., etc. We went through a phase where like comics kind of had a high period, and I remember it was really weird because Lazy Lines launched a comic and Pixel Vault launched a comic, and they named it exactly the same title. And I don't know how, in what world that's even possible, but it was. So it looks like Macroverse has several different collections on here. Is this for anybody that reads comics, I think there's like DC Comics or something where you can sign up as like a subscription similar to Netflix and read all the comics. But they got a Moonbirth comic in here and all these other ones. Is this something that's similar? Is included 100 million plus game downloads, 20 million plus content views. The Macroverse founders have been making stuff for over 75 years. Adventure Time, Transformers, NBA, WWE, Future Man, Creepshow, Spyro the Dragon, Jurassic Park, Hello Kitty. Oh, look, here's all these IPs. At what point do we completely disregard the majority of Web3 IPs and go back to kind of the world scale IPs? That's really the question that I kind of have been viewing in the space overall as, more card games continue to pop up. We're going to get to Parallel and their announcement recently here in a second, but Gods Unchained, a different card game that's on Immutable, is apparently launching on mobile. So curious if that sparks more interest. I've been playing old school RuneScape again, and they have a mobile version, and I've been surprised how much I play that, just not wanting to be at my computer or if I'm out doing other things and kind of go on for a few minutes, do whatever. I'm jumping on the mobile game bandwagon just a little bit. So this is kind of crazy. There was a most valuable NFT projects by USD market cap that was brought up. And when you look at this chart, you can see that we have CryptoPunks all the way at like, what is this? 1,700 million. And then BAYC is like less than half of that. And then Pudgy's at 519. And then all the way down here, we have DGods at 90 million market cap. Mochaverse, Bitcoin Frogs, Ordinal MaxiBiz, Other Deed, Lil Pudgy's, Captain, Fidenzas. These are all some of the collections with the highest market cap. And I'm curious, when you objectively look at this, what would make you get into any of those collections? Is it something that you would they need to provide a certain amount of liquidity? If you had the ETH right now, would you go out and buy them? Because I mean, for myself, I find it very hard to grasp the rationale for getting into some of these collections that already have such a higher valuation. Obviously, we go into the notion of, oh, there's people that have the extra liquidity and the higher end stuff, and it's wag me. We want to get into it, but I think that we're gonna change here, where we need something that's more. It's not just a point system. It's not just something that's art for the majority of things. Obviously, there's going to be winners that, flush out over here. But I mean, are we ever going to see a time when the utility NFTs are going to take over, or is it always going to be mainly the ETH one? So speaking of art, OpenSea is launching a Scream NFT. So there's like 780 of these. My dad sent me a message yesterday being like, oh, what do you think of this? And I'm like, it's so strange seeing somebody else who's like newer within the space and what they find interesting. I don't know if he just like goes on OpenSea and sees what they're putting on there. I'm guessing so. Maybe I'll message him later and figure that out. But are you wanting to get something that 780 other people already own? Well, people already do that with Top Shot and a whole bunch of others. So Garga, to celebrate the launch of Magic Eden's Ethereum marketplace, we're lowering royalties for 69 days. 2.5% for all of our royalty-enforced collections and 1% for legacy collections. I guess NFTs are on sale. I feel like this is odd. Like, maybe they're trying to just drum up traffic, have Magic Eden like involved with this more, and think about it from like a business perspective as well. If you have this massive marketplace deal, do you not think that like there's maybe something extra on the table of like, hey, we need a marketplace that does that. We're going to give you money, or this party is going to end up taking like a certain amount of royalties beyond that? Or is it strictly, here's the Magic Eden royalties and here's the Yuga, or insert whatever collection on the side royalties? That's what I'd love to know. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess it's a bit cheaper if you're wanting to get right now due to the royalties not being all the way there. Bitcoin ETF approved and trading starts tomorrow. But when it comes to price action predictions, I can't forget what Rule Paul said. By March, it's all going batshit crazy. And so this goes back to what I highlighted the other day. Coinbase's year-end report said in Q2 is when Bitcoin is going to fly. Raoul Paul saying in March, Bitcoin is going to fly. We are now, a couple days away here. And we'll see what ends up happening with that. And I saw an Alex Becker tweet saying, all you have to do is just hold whatever for the next 4 or 5 months and then sell. But I thought everybody was saying that 2025 was supposed to be the big run. So what the hell do I know? Just unboxed the newly released Cool Cat's Blue Cat Cross body bag. So this is cool, except it definitely didn't need to be as long in terms of the video. This is like a full unboxing here, but this is, you got the back there, you have this. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it also looks like kind of like inconvenient with the way that, like the ears pop out there, but I guess it's a side bag, right? Like I'm trying to think of like if you put it into another bag, but I mean, I don't deal with like these bags or purses, so I don't know. But still, interesting that we're seeing different variations of the NFT merch. Coming in here from the Parallel founder, it always takes a little longer than you think and is closer than you think. There's your words of wisdom of the day, whatever the hell that means. Now, something that I've always been yapping about since we started doing these X feeds is talking about narrative, and everything is driven by narrative, whether you think it's stupid, whether you think it's great. People are saying the Bitcoin puppets is literally the stupidest thing they've ever seen, but we saw like crypto dick butts and other just like really dumb things end up having wild success, and maybe that's for a short time, maybe that's for a longer time. I don't know. But as we're going through here, DC Blogger is saying investing in strong narratives. Okay, so we have L1s, L2s, GameFi, AI, DeFi, Infra, DePIN, SocialFi, memes, Bitcoin network. Like, there's literally everything in here. So the question is there going to be enough capital from the traditional markets coming into the space to support all this? And all of them are going to do well? Probably. But I mean, you're going to have to find like your winners, quote unquote, within that. Yo, Gen X, what's up? How are you? Becker admittedly barely knows anything about Web3, but he does have his smart people in his ear. It's weird the way that he highlights certain things. I think he's obviously like very like bold and aggressive with his stance on parts, but it is, I don't know. There's some things that I find like just a little bit odd with the deciding factors or explanations for certain things for sure. Okay. So regarding Racers, which is a new AI Web3 game, for now, Racers will be 1 ticket per race, but races go all day. We think there will be community demand for higher stakes races with greater rewards, so we'll look at that as we get feedback. And so my kind of notion with this is it feels like it's going to be like Zed Run, where, you have your horse, or in this case, a cart, you put your tickets in to get into a race, and by this it's confirmed that if you want to get into a higher end race where the rewards are bigger, you can put in more tickets and get that higher prize pool. So curious to see on launch how interested people are within doing that, because it does feel like we're at a point where people don't really want to pay for things. They'll buy like the original collectible, but then like to spend beyond that, it's been kind of 50-50 within the space. So Utes, they're doing something for Magic Eden as well. Starting tomorrow, we're enforcing royalties with Magic Eden. But here's the plot twist. 100% of the royalties will be used on 2 things: buying Utes and endorsing Utes creators with X badges. So I guess this is a point now where we are really connecting these like social graphs, and the content creators within the space are really aligning themselves with different ecosystems. And, admittedly, I do cover Futureverse a lot, but, I've covered Yuga before. Obviously, I was huge into Top Shot, and it's like, it's kind of a weird thought to be like, man, like what if I was still rocking like an NBA Top Shot badge on my profile and I don't really talk about it anymore, right? Or if you have one of these badges of, like a D-God or whatever, and then you talk about other ecosystems, and then whatever point you had, people now, could say, oh, so your opinion is what like this collection thinks of, because it's like an official connection. I don't know. I think it's cool that like they're wanting to support creators this way, but I think that there could be problems with that. But then for buying Utes here, so we have a collection that's going back and buying the floor. People have said for Yuga and other collections, guys, you have these treasuries, you have this, go and buy the floor. What are you doing? Does that help? I don't know. Does it remove supply? Probably. But I feel like we run into like some kind of odd narratives that way. Harden W. Yo, Buffalo. That's memories, brother. Gen X, I'm in NT, so don't want to throw too much shade at him though. Well, NT, I'm assuming you mean like Neo Tokyo. Can you give me like any insights of like what you think have been like the value within that? Because before we saw a lot of collections launch alpha groups per se, and I should, maybe collections isn't a correct term, but I mean, within CyberKongs, they had like an alpha channel, and Forgotten Ruined Wizards, they have that. And I know Neo Tokyo does, but there was legitimately beyond, your, I guess, mainstream collection, people were trying to sell passes to an alpha club. And so is it better to go for those individual alpha clubs? Is it better to go into like these bigger things and just kind of ride the wave of it all? It's very funny, the evolution that we've seen with all of this. Okay, so G Top Shotta saying, remember when Gil's gang OG passes pumped over 1 ETH because 888 got whitelist? I remember. Okay, I need to see here. Okay, I have it saved. I didn't know if I did it the right way. We've harped on VFriends a little bit, and I've always tried to like add context to it with my different viewpoints. But one of the weird things that, or I guess good to an extent, that VFriends had was they partnered up with different collections to provide some mint access, and Grill's gang was one of them. And so there was people that got Grill's gang tickets to be able to mint these things. And looking at it, like, why the hell did Gary V and the space as a whole endorse whatever this is? Respectfully, right? Because we can look at this in hindsight, and I mean, obviously we get the Bitcoin puppets that people are like, that's weird. But how the hell did this end up going over to an ETH and getting all the people that were, hyped up about it? 5,555 unique NFTs of shiny grills, creating partnerships and collaborations with art, technology, and special access. Now, I just fudded a little bit. Let me go check out the collection. Is it doing well? It's at 0.025. Okay, 0.025. We check out the activity. What are we looking at? 2 days ago, 7 days, 12, 12, 12, 13. I mean, we're having some, couple of buys upwards of 80. So it looks like things are still going, but like why this got to the heights that it did, I don't know. Yo, Steve T, nice name. What's going on? Thank you for the subscription. Good, sir. Okay. I am going to try to make it a thing anytime I see a wallet drain on my feed to save it, to re-bring up security. Once I get my shit together, I'll write what happened. But essentially, I lost all my Wicked Craniums, Cool Cats, Alien Friends, and Play Shrapnel. So I've re-looked at his profile, and he reposted today, and he was highlighting that it was a portal scam link that he clicked on, which was exactly the same, maybe not like the specific one, but similar to the one that we highlighted yesterday. So again, only focus on the official websites. Don't be clicking through tweets. Don't be reading the comments. There's a reason all the major collections are responding to their main tweet saying this is the final tweet in the thread, because this is an attack vector that happens quite frequently. Okay, Kieran from Alluvium here saying TLDR from the AMA today. And this is, for anybody that doesn't know, is just a really big game within the space that's been building for a while. Capital raise is progressing nicely. Some excellent new backers are in. We'll utilize the Alluvium Game Fund to incentivize players on launch, which is play to airdrop, which I've been doing the Nifty Island every day, so excited to see what this looks like. Arena's new game mode is much improved, plus multiplayer version closer to TFT has been pitched. IZ will be free to play and accessible to all on mobile, activating players without PC access, and overworld hunting will be ready for launch with combat soon after. Q2 launch is dialed in, which goes to the BTC and all this notion that Q2 is going to be nice. Well, probably, so just going back to the Neo Tokyo thing from JNX here in the chat, well, probably best value is if you're interested in more VC type investments, but I just use it for cross-referencing things I'm curious about. It's not that special in its current state, but it's okay. No, I love the candid response. And I feel like we've seen more and more collections try to offer that like VC side of things. And we'll get into one here in a second. It feels like there's a lot of the same name. So I was debating playing this entire thing, but it's like 6 minutes, and it just doesn't feel like that's going to be worth it. So we'll watch about a minute of this, but this is Greg, the co-founder of BYC, back at Ape Fest in Hong Kong.
Shit, there's like way more of you than I was expecting.
Yeah, what's up, Nana?
Yeah, I had this whole thing memorized, but...
Yes, wallet card's amazing.
I'm probably going to need the cue cards because I've never spoken in front of so many people, let alone streets, but, you know, we'll save that for later.
See, this is okay. Oh boy. Okay, so when the other day when Daniel Allegre did the address to the community after the insanity regarding the Moonbirds FUD, I don't know why he just didn't say, "Hey guys, like I'm going off like some of these things that we have written," exactly like Garga just did, because it 100% sounded like he read off a script. But I digress.
First off, everybody, I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming all this way. Those of you who flew halfway around the world, like so much of our team did, and all of you local apes that have welcomed us into your city. It's really been an honor. Never been to Hong Kong, but it's a really beautiful place, and I'm just so happy to bring us all together here. So thank you all for being such a good sports with that crazy flight, and yeah, just embracing everything.
Another like 30 seconds and we'll switch.
They wanted me to say a few words of what I'm looking forward to in 2024. You know, there's two things that I'm most proud of when I think about BYC. The first one is just how like we keep it so fucking weird. The fact that we can do Dookie Dash and everybody embraces it for all its humor is incredible. I remember when we were first pitching that idea internally, Wiley and I.
Maybe a bit more than 30.
And our PR lead at the time, Delaney, who's amazing, she was like, "Okay, but I'm not going to pitch this to any media because this is insane." And we were like, "What are you talking about? It's beautiful." Anyway, it's great. But so number one, obviously, we keep it weird. But number two is that we bring people together. It's been amazing to see so many of you who I met for the first time anonymously 2 years ago, I think almost to the day, at either Brooklyn Steel or on the yacht party. And then seeing again last Ape Fest in New York City on Pier 17. And for me...
Yo, Pier 17, let's go into story time here for a second, because I don't know if any of you guys else experienced that, but Amanda coming through on that tier 1 for 37 months. Holy sheesh. Thank you so much. So... the way that they designed Ape Fest was that it was 4 days, okay? And so each day there was like a different event, and there was a lot of demand for it, like to the point that people were like outside willing to pay for access within, trying to see if anybody had extra tickets, yada, 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 yada. But you never really knew who was the act every night, except, you know, there was a couple of leaky beavers in there, and people started to figure out that the last day was going to be the best. So obviously not in the way that it worked is like you selected what days that you could attend. So you could select all 4, even though that wasn't encouraged, or like pick 2. And so obviously there's a whole bunch of events going on, but everybody was trying to go for like those last 2 days. And we didn't get tickets for those last 2, but we got tickets for the first one. And it was like Amy Schumer that came out and tried to tell like a joke, and it was horrible and it was weird and it was not very good. And then the final day was like Snoop Dogg and Eminem. And I'm like, there's people that are going to walk away from Ape Fest being like, this is the greatest experience ever. And then the other people that got to watch Amy Schumer, and I was the one that got to watch Amy Schumer. That's freaking ridiculous. But I don't want to go through like all this because it's like 6 minutes in total. But again, the Ape Fest in Hong Kong, I thought that was interesting. Are they going to go that way again? Is it going to be something that's in America again? We'll see for 2024. Today, Magic Eden is positioning itself as the savior of royalties, yet in 2022, it campaigned against them even before Blur's launch. Oh, we have a little bit of fraudsters in the building. This is Web3. The real power is in the hands of the participants. In this model, service providers must answer to us. It's critical. No matter what we build, the foundations need to protect this principle, or we risk losing again. I'm not criticizing Magic Eden. I commend their wisdom to listen and lean into sentiment. However, it's important to recognize that as a for-profit corporation, their primary aim will always be maximize shareholder returns, not to empower a new paradigm. Yo, are we thudding? That's crazy. But this is back in October of 22. After some difficult reflections and discussions with many creators, we've decided to move to optional royalties on Magic Eden. Effective later today, we'll also begin running a promotion to waive our platform fees. I mean, was this in like the depths of the bear, and people were like, we just need people to trade NFTs, like nothing's going on, huh? But we highlighted this a little bit earlier. These are massive things that are happening in terms of providing liquidity to the space. Zai staking, Portal, Blast going live, BTC full sending. All the announcements within your selective project that isn't encompassed with this, the extra liquidity, the things that are working, the deals that are being made and ready to be announced is going to be crazy, in my opinion. Okay, have you guys ever looked at the Toronto Comic Con? I got an ad last night and I looked it up. I'm not going to lie. I think arguably it had like the worst lineup of celebrities, special guests, gaming, and everything. But people go out in droves to this thing because it's got the Comic-Con thing. If you want to have a laugh, go look up Tron Base as your layer 2 that they will use for their game. I maybe have a bold prediction here. Maybe. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I feel like Base has the potential to really, and I mean like really dominate the L2 space. And I don't know what they need to do different, but it feels like they have the backing, obviously, of Coinbase, right? Which is the be all and the end all, especially for everything like within America's crypto. And I mean, just that. Like, I mean, to be honest, what do these other ones have? Is it about the tech? Is it this and that? If all the L2s are created equal, if we try to make that argument, what makes them different? Well, anything that's attached to it, and arguably if you have, you know, the biggest exchange in America and Coinbase, I feel like people are going to move there. Hello, friends. Hello, croissant. If you're reading this, you just made it through one of the longest crypto bear markets in history. That's crazy. Are you prepared to see something we've never seen before? Let's compare to 2021. A popular top signal is when Coinbase hits number 1 on the App Store charts. Oh, there we go. That fits into the base narrative. This only has happened twice in history. First on December 7th of 2017, when BTC was at $17,000. Then on May 10th, 2021, when BTC was at $58,000. Wow, we are actually, holy sheesh. We're like really close to that again. Today, BTC is 54,575. I think it's a little bit higher. And Coinbase sits all the way at rank number 422. Okay, cool. How about crypto activity on Reddit? Some analysis can show just how far we are away from peak. In 2021, our cryptocurrency averaged hundreds of thousands of posts a day. In 2024, our cryptocurrency averages just a couple thousands of posts a day. Big difference. Even better, use Google search trend metrics to evaluate the current market sentiment. On May 16, 2021, search results for Bitcoin across Google peaked worldwide. Since then, search results for Bitcoin today are just 23% of its peak a few years ago. Long ways to go. All right, enough of the retail data. Let's dig in on the token prices. How crazy did tokens get during the last bull run? On January 27th of 21, Doge was 962 million market cap. What? A day later, Doge was sitting at 9 billion market cap. Yo, just to clean like almost 10 extra there. No big deal, guys. That's a daily increase of 8x from $1 billion token. Then there was Theta, which, I mean, before we had Valhalla trying to do like a Web3 streaming platform, we had Theta. Never forget. Already $1 billion token, it would go on to see an increase of 14x in the span of months. I feel like I don't see anybody talking about Theta at all. From 1 billion to 14 billion. Another huge winner of the last bull market was Axie Infinity. Gaming tokens got popular and AXS went on an insane run from 32 mil market cap in early 21 all the way to 11 billion by the end of the year. That was an increase of about 343x. So when we look at the space, and this is maybe more for like somebody that's newer looking at this stream, everybody's talking about, you know, oh my God, my token's going to do the best, right? Like I'm biased on certain things that I'm holding. You're probably biased on things you're holding, but you see everybody else that's trying to make a, I guess we'll call it a narrative, but sometimes there's like real rationale behind it of like, hey, here's all the steps. This team's done well. It's done bad. They've come back through this hole. They've gotten this amount of funding. We can kind of go down the list, but the idea is that everybody is trying to find that token that can do this 343x from before. And that's also why people are so heavy into like meme coins and shit coins, because they can put basically nothing into it. The market caps are like $500 and they're like, whoa, if we get 100K, we're rich. And it's like, and then it like dies after that. But this goes back to like some of the sustainability axes or I guess like axes in the sense, because like that's been something that's sustainable. Sure, there's been people in the community that have gotten like, I guess, burned by it. There's people that have come and gone from the ecosystem, but it's still something that's got a heavy user base right now. But sustainability in this case was something that ended up being paramount, obviously, with people making a whole bunch of money too. Yo, love, Sengo, what's going on? The only one talking about Theta was actually Crypto Banter today. Don't know if that's bullish. Dude, I don't see Theta talked about at all, like ever. But that's funny that it was brought up. Janix LOL, yeah, I sold all my Doge on that pump that missed on all the run from 7 cents to 69. Yeesh. Well, are you going to try to do it again? What's the dealio? Okay, how about Telcoin? Tel, a token nobody knew about in the start of 2021, saw gains that one could only dream in a bull run. From 8.9 million market cap to 3.2 billion. Which is a 359x in months. Can't forget about SHIB either. SHIB defied all odds of meme tokens, exceeding 40 billion market cap from just a couple billion earlier in the year. Look at these god candles. Sheesh. So what is the point of all of this comparison? Things are moving fast. However, we are nowhere near where we were in 2021. Altcoin market cap, excluding BTC and ETH, are still far off from all-time highs, sitting at 569 billion. At the same time, the landscape has changed dramatically. This time around, we have nation states taking interest. We have true mainstream attention. We have ETFs. We have regulatory clarity. We have memes. We have AI and the shiller. All of this while the Bitcoin halving hasn't even happened yet. We are just getting started. There is your wildly bull post of the day. Holy goodness. Guys, what happened to Rec League? Yes. Friendly banter here. What happened to Rec League? It was hyped up. People thought that they were going to be able to buy these parts, and then people were going to be able to play the game and make money off people buying the parts of the game that they had. And they had these tournaments, and I saw people playing it. And then I just don't see it in my timeline anymore. Guys, what's going on? What's going on? I don't see it on my timeline anymore. Was super hyped up. And to mention, we did highlight one of the new League of Legends fighting game that's coming up. And again, if we're talking about like genres, suddenly having an interest, maybe the pickup for Rec League will happen at the same time that this League of Legends fighting game gets popular too, assuming that it does, which it probably will. I do believe the Doge will hit $1 for the memes, so I do have a bag of Doge. Hell yeah. Not as big as last cycle though. Well, you know, that's fair. Yeah, listen, we gotta get grinding though. Maybe you can get a bag just as big. And just like that, Codas can no longer be bought on OpenSea or Blur. So just as a quick reminder, this is kind of how the show started, but just wanting to touch this quickly again. If you guys are enjoying this stream and you happen to want to support the channel on YouTube, we do have memberships for $2.99 a month, or on Twitch here if you're wanting to partake in that. And otherwise, just feel free to share it with a friend. I appreciate you guys, and maybe hit that like button. So the story of the day is about these marketplaces, the royalties, and what the length of the impact of this entire space is going to be. Are people going to be happy about using Magic Eden? If you've never used it, realize that you can just go and you probably have a claim for their diamond rewards if you've ever used a Solana in the past for whatever reason. I think I bought, if you guys remember, there's Grim Syndicate, and the artist for that was a part of some big project on ETH, and the association we've had, because we've had a couple of runs where people look at a collection and they're like, oh, this artist is huge on ETH. Let me go buy what they launched on a different collection within Solana. And so Grim Syndicate was one of them. I forget what the collection was for. And so I know I got into Star Atlas too, like way back in like 2021. And so I guess I used Magic Eden a little bit with that, even though I'm pretty much like only stuck on Ethereum for the most part, right? Obviously did Top Shot and Flow, but I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So there are those diamonds. You just log in. It's a claim. It's easy. And for Bitcoin ordinals, if you're newer and you're wanting to look into that, on my YouTube channel, I posted a quick 2-minute video of how to get an ordinals wallet, and the exchange. All that stuff was like shockingly easier than I initially thought. Now, collections are starting to talk a little bit more bullish on your timeline, you might notice. And Mr. Bill Green, GM from the PM. Wicked Craniums was founded in 2021 on music, experience, and events. The team has been working hard on a platform that ties it all together. This is your warning, Anon. Listen, I like a little bit of confidence on the timeline. I really, really do. But if you don't know, Wicked Craniums has been around for a while. I think it's pivoted from certain things. I had like a particular one of this that I ended up selling at a point, and the guitarist or lead singer of Avenged Sevenfold bought it, and then I saw it a day later on a giveaway on their Instagram, and that's pretty surreal. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I bought that NFT, and now this guy's giving it away, thinking it's a rare to all their, hundreds of thousands of followers. It is crazy. But if you are into music, all that kind of stuff, be sure just to check out Wicked Craniums, and excited to see what they come out with. Okay, ApeCoin. What the hell is going on with ApeCoin? Exciting announcement alert. Okay, is it actually exciting, or is it just an announcement alert? We're thrilled to unveil a potential. Okay, hold on a minute. How is this an exciting announcement when this is only a potential? Game-changing ape improvement proposal and multi-year partnership between ApeCoin DAO and Redacted, a Formula One racing team. Okay. Here's a sneak peek at the first of its kind AIP for our DAO. As posted, I think they mean as posted by the ApeCoin DAO community since inception, it would not be unreasonable to expect globally recognized brand names to wish to remain anonymous during the AIP process because they don't want people to know they're in NFTs because that's going to cause a lot of backlash. But people still hate NFTs. It's amazing. I don't get why. Such is the case here. The Ape Foundation is facilitating an AIP on behalf of Redacted. Due to confidentiality undertakings at the stage, we are unable to disclose the name of Redacted until after the voting period is finished and the grant agreement has been executed. Now, if we just said like Redacted for everything, yeah, would people fly with that? I mean, you get to say that it's like an F1 Formula team, but man, if this was Redacted for anything else, that's a buzzword. Global exposure. This proposal aims to give ApeCoin DAO its first foray into motorsports to boost ApeCoin's global presence and drive adoption like never before. Now, is this something where they just put the ApeCoin logo on a car? Is it something where it's like Top Shot, where you have different channels and opportunities to meet with the drivers, have those video game things? Is it an extra IRL experience? From community engagement, the intent is to rev up our community engagement with exclusive events and experiences alongside Redacted. There we go, answered our own question immediately after. Just keep reading, you idiot. Authentic storytelling through Redacted Web3's initiatives will showcase real-world use cases for ApeCoin, demonstrating its utility and value to the digital age. Cutting-edge integrations. Brace yourself for limited edition merchandise. Why? Why do they have to add that part every time it's about merch? Son of a bitch. NFTs, gaming activations, and more. Partnership details. Check out the proposal for all the exciting details. Listen. Put a little bit of details in this. But anyway, that's interesting. Maybe we're going to see ApeCoin have an F1 driver. So if you haven't seen, Dookie Dash is starting to get more picked up a lot in terms of people highlighting it. And I thought this was interesting where FaZe Sway started talking about this all of a sudden being all over it. So he's obviously with FaZe, but million TikTok, million Twitch, 3 million Instagram, 4 million YouTube. Like, okay, this man's got the credentials. And he announced he's officially joined the Yuga Gaming Council, and then I guess he went to NFT Paris as well, and then he posted this video of he was at Kanye, and instead of watching the concert, he was playing Dookie Dash. So phenomenal marketing, but it goes to my point yesterday about how we have kind of these Web3, like, influencers, actionable people that people, react to whatever they say or buy, do, etc. But, when you look at Reebok per se, you have Shaq and all these other people. When you look at whatever brand, right, whether it be a athlete, a comedian, a celebrity, an actor, we go down these lists. I think we forget what the impact of that has because people just blindly follow whatever they like. I think that'll be interesting. Okay, a little bit of FUD here. Yo, who's ready for some FUD? I'm ready for some FUD. So there was a pretty big post here from Jay Shannon saying, at the moment, Cool Cats is just running on vibes, which is fine. That is reflected with the floor price of 0.82. I would argue that if it was just off vibes, it would be way lower. Respectfully. Cool Cats is very strong IP and should be dominating the space, in my opinion. But instead, we see sales and Pudgy Penguins exceeding expectations. Why, you might ask? Well, okay, let me give you the rundown because Schiller knows. So Sappy Seals is giving like 78% of their token to stakers. And there's like 30 days left of that. And the token recently shot up, which in turn shot the floor of the seals up for Pudgy Penguins. People are saying, oh my God, there is a leverage trading phenomenon. People decided there was going to be this. I mean, is Pudgy Penguins going to launch a token and they're actually the worst insiders compared to everybody yapping about Yuga Labs and the Moonbird sale and anytime ApeCoin's moving up and, all this crazy stuff? Is there more to it? Because I feel like we're putting these like rational things and like, oh, this team is just executing better. And like, respectfully, when we look at like the Walmart thing, which everybody seems to go to for that, if you took like VFriends and you put them in Walmart, would people have the same reaction to VFriends as they do Pudgy Penguins? I don't think so whatsoever. But Clay saying here, well, not a one-day minter. I thought after Macy's Day Parade, we would see so many cool things and then nothing happened. No footer bashing. I love my cat, but I'm also wondering if I should quietly exit. I missed Journeys too. They were fun and really brought everyone together. So, one of the things that I was kind of critical about regarding like the Cool Cats team is as I follow Futureverse, they announced that they were like partnered. They had like a Twitter space and then there was like basically nothing after that. Cool Cats tweeted out that cats could get future score. But as we've gone over, if you've been participating in these quests, like $19 million worth of root has gone out. And I think 90% of the Cool Cats community has no idea that they could have partaken within that, like at all. And so is it a communication barrier? Is it kind of a thing of like, hey, these guys now, for the most part in these collections, it's just about building out the IP, and it's not these side pieces where I try to highlight, hey, you either have static art that people are trying to build these brands over, right? Which I think VFriends falls in that category, or you have the ones that are building infrastructure. You have these tokens, and one of the reasons why everybody's saying about, hey, you need a founder that's going out and getting airdrops is because that's generally what creates the volatility and the volume for most of these collections and the desire apart from just wanting to collect something. But again, to my point earlier of this art NFT and Raoul Paul going on about that, it's like, okay, like maybe right now, but I think these utility NFTs are going to take over at a point. What's going on with Silo? Oh, don't tell me. We are, nice. All right, we're moving a little bit. Hell yeah, Beldo. That's the things we'd love to see. My man. Open beta is coming soon for Parallel TCG. So I went over the article super quick here, and I don't want to go over all of it, but it highlighted how Parallel distinguishes itself from other TCGs, trading card games. Curious your guys' thought on this response. When comparing Parallel to other card-based games currently on the market, there are several distinctions that set it apart. One of the most obvious areas is its lore. Most deck builders offer some level of narrative, but it rarely goes as in-depth as what's been presented about Parallel's story so far. With multiple cinematic trailers largely dedicated to world building, the game also puts an emphasis on helping players hone their skills, with both a rookie mode, 1v1 inconsequential matches against others, and practice where decks can be tested on AI opponents to encourage growth. I feel, bam, peanut butter and jam. What's going on, Ray Stinger? How are you? I feel like this was kind of like a weak response of them saying like, we have more lore. Cause when you play a card game, like I don't ever like, so when you do Magic Gathering, right? Molag Bowl, I think was one of the dragons. I don't ever think of like the Molag Bowl story or the Teferi story. Like, sure, there's these kind of like other cool aspects, and the fact that they have these visual representations between it too. Like, I don't want to fully like discredit it, but I feel like, if you're basing that this game's different because it's extra lore, I feel like, we gotta have like a little bit more to it. But Colony's coming out, there's insane hype around it. The Prime token, people are saying avatars are gonna go to 28th. People are super bullish on this, and the game is fun. I played it. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for any streamers that do cover it, if you type in JURMY on Twitch, you'll find a guy. I know him. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. You know what I mean? Worth checking out. Okay. Everybody's feeling confident. Everybody's throwing money around, and it's the same people in every freaking thing you see on the timeline. We're building the future of D-Gen gaming on Blastelt 2. Okay, here we go with liquidity games. With the backing of the most esteemed D-Gens in crypto, the games begin on February 29th. might recognize some of these people, and I don't know. I just find it odd that like we always kind of have like the same people that are highlighting this. Obviously, they've all made a bag. Obviously, they have the money within it. I get it. But I just find it interesting that it always does seem to be like the same people. But we'll see what YOLO Games does. Got 7,000 followers here. It's weird that this has the backing of all those individuals, right? And it has like not even half of a quarter of the following of some of these other random blast protocols that have 150,000 followers plus. How the hell does that make sense? Why is this one so low? Are the other ones completely botted? Probably. Respectfully. Probably. Embrace your legacy with ink. Our goal has always been to leave a lasting impact on our community and the blockchain. That's why we've chosen to inscribe on legacy stats.
And I wanted a way to do NFTs that I could use for my own art. That would be really simple. That would be based on Bitcoin. This is the transaction that created all the paper wallets. These are paper wallets. These are the ordinals. It's got 10K sats on it.
Every set is an ordinal.
That's right.
So I don't exactly know how any of this stuff works, and if anybody's in ordinals, I would love to get your vibe with this, but it seems that everybody's trying to get like the earliest encryptions, and that provides value on top of like whatever the collection is in itself. And so these guys have ones that were from like an original meeting that were on these like paper wallets. I don't know where the hell they got them from, but if we're adding these to the narrative, it's going to be really interesting what Ink on BTC does here. Again, if you haven't seen it, they've been doing like these one-of-ones across the timeline, and it looks interesting. But I mean, holy heck, is this going to be the next biggest thing on ordinals, or is it not? I don't know. Okay, man, okay, I need to go on a little bit of a rant before we go into this. Okay, I don't know the exact stats, but I think it would blow people's minds how many people don't do anything with their NFTs. And I mean, like, I'm not talking about like you specifically, you probably check your wallet occasionally, yada, yada, but the amount of people that like legitimate have something within the space, they don't check on updates, they don't do anything. If the price goes up, they're like, oh, what? Why is that? Let me go figure out why the price is up. And then they go from there. However, we are seeing time and time again where things are starting to be time locked, right? Where I posted the video the other day about like airdrop opportunities, a little bit different, but for that, the frame one that reopened, but it was a very time locked thing for Futureverse. It's they have the quest. If you miss the quest, then you don't get that allocation to it, and it goes to all these other people. I think that we're going to continue to see that. We've seen from Parallel and other protocols that needed to upgrade, and you needed to transfer the contracts. If you didn't do that, you stopped earning completely. And we go down this list, and it's just like, man, if you were in the space, sometimes it's easier just to go buy a coin and forget. I really think that that's the notion for a lot of people. Okay, and so the reason why I'm highlighting this is because when we look at the overall collection here, Coda did like a great breakdown, and he was talking about like the different quests and the first time participation. So the score 2,800 for the initial one, the first time, and then you see like maybe about 100 increase for all these on the side ones, and then the trade at a whole bunch of people because it's you just trade, you don't have to really do anything with that, where these other ones require an asset, and then there's only been 8 people with that. But the reason why I think this is important is because before I got onto this call, I was in a meeting and I was talking to somebody, and they're like, I have these NFTs and I've not done absolutely anything within the ecosystem for them. So you've missed out on all the opportunity of having that NFT. And then so you get, you have the negative connotation of that collection because it wasn't open forever. But then you also, you have these other things that took more of a priority for it. And it's just, I don't know. I find it weird that we have so many people within the space that like hold on to something, but they're not that passionate about it. And we need to find things we're passionate about, baby. We need to find things we're passionate about. And I love this space. That's great. But that's going to do it for this edition of XFeed. Again, if you guys have enjoyed this, if you're interested, we got the YouTube memberships, we got the Twitch primers. if you're wanting to do that. But we will be back tomorrow as per usual. I'm trying to think if there's anything super relevant to say other than I had sushi earlier and it's not bad. So if you're looking for something to have for dinner, maybe check that out. But I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And if you do have a friend that's in Web3 and you want to let them know about the stream, I would love you even more. But that's it for me. We'll talk soon. Peace.